What's going on, guys? Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video, we're going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to talk about body repairs. Unfortunately, it happens to everybody. You get parking lot dings, someone runs into your car, you run into something. If you're like me, you like to keep your car clean and looking good. Fixing a dent in your car does require some skills, but if you're going to attempt it at home, watch this video and hopefully you can pick up some pointers. In the description below, I'll put a list of all the tools that was used and links to where you can get a good deal on these tools. Alright, let's get started. What you want to do first is prep your sheet metal. What I mean by that is you want to start shaping it to the way it used to look before it was damaged. On smaller dents, we like to grind off the paint. This way you get a better feel for the metal while you're shaping it, and then we start working it with a hammer and dolly. Once you get the sheet metal like you like it, it's time to go ahead and start mixing up some Bondo and spreading it over the area that you just worked. When you're mixing up the Bondo, follow the directions. If this is new to you, that's the easiest way to do it. We've been doing it so long that we know how much hardener to use depending on the temperature it is outside. If you're enjoying this video, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. When you start spreading your filler, you want to be neat and smooth with it. This is when you're starting to shape your fender. Don't get discouraged if your first wiping doesn't look that great. You're going to do this about 2 or 3 more times. After your body filler is set up and dry, you're going to start sanding it with 36 grit. That's a rough sandpaper. This is going to start shaping it. Once you've taken all the Bondo down and you're starting to take form, you're going to mix up some more Bondo and you're going to wipe it again. Once the second wiping dries, you're going to start with a 36 grit just to start roughing it up some. Then you're going to switch to a 80 grit. That's a finer sandpaper. You're going to smooth it out as best you can, blow it off, and then you're going to check it for any imperfections. If you get it close at this point and you're happy with what you got, the next step is to get some icing. That's just like body filler, but it's a little bit smoother. It's real good for pinholes and scratches and making sure your peaks are nice and sharp. You're going to mix it up the same way. Again, if you're not familiar how to do it, make sure you read the instructions. After you spread that on there, you're going to switch to even a finer grit sandpaper. We usually use like a 120. After it starts to take shape, go ahead and switch to a 220 grit. That's even finer. Finish your shaping with a 220 grit. You want to start making sure your body lines are nice and crisp and sharp and they match the rest of your vehicle. Once everything looks good, it's time to go ahead and feather edge around your bodywork. Use a 180 grit sandpaper on an orbital sander. Be careful not to hit your bodywork. You just want to feather edge the grinding marks that are around your bodywork. Feather it out till it's nice and smooth. Rub your hand across it and make sure you don't feel any imperfections. Now it's time to go ahead and tape it up. You're going to spot tape around the area that you just repaired and get it ready for priming. Make sure you use enough paper and you go out far enough so that you don't have any overspray getting on your car when you're priming. We use a 2-part epoxy primer that we mix through a measuring system. We're going to apply 2 to 3 coats, letting it flash off in between coats. Once that primer's dried, it's ready for blocking and then painting. But that's another episode. Hope you enjoyed this video, and like always, smash that like button.